Hi, beautiful people. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. If you're seeing this, a big congratulations to you because this is a very huge milestone in your Microsoft 365 journey. Before we move on to today's class, I would like to especially apologize to each and every one of you, our dearest cloud blazers, due to the hiccups we encountered last week. So far so good. We've been able to get full permission for you guys. So after now, you should be able to do about everything that you need to do while I am training. Okay? So thank you so very much for your understanding. Thank you so very much for your tenacity so far. I just implore you to please keep up the good work, keep up the drive, and continue to learn. Okay. So in today's class, real quick, we'll be looking at what we call shared mailboxes. Remember, in our last class, we talked about the different types of groups. We talked about the Microsoft 365 and team group. We talked about the distribution list and the security group. And in the security group, we have the mail-enabled security group and just the normal security group. Okay, and we were able to discuss the differences between these kind of group accounts. Okay, and definitely how to use them. If you understand the differences, you definitely know where they are best used for, or best use cases for them. Okay, so that brings us to the next kind of group email, which is called shared mailboxes. So if you are here on your home screen and you look at your left hand side where you have the menu, and if you scroll down to where you have shared mailboxes just after deleted groups under the teams and groups pane, you will be able to head over to shared mailbox. So a shared mailbox can be used by a group of people, like a support team, to receive and send email from the same email address. So this is a very good, simple description from Microsoft. What they're trying to say here is a shared mailbox is a group mailbox. It can be accessed by a group of people, with similar goals. For example, if you are maybe working in the sales department and you need a centralized mailbox for your sales files, your sales meetings, your sales emails. Generally, you just need a centralized mailbox whereby 4 people who are in the sales team can access those information. Then you should go for a shared mailbox. So I want you to pay attention. Okay, there is a twist about shared mailboxes, and it's always good for you to understand it. Now, most often than not, people confuse shared mailboxes for distribution lists. Or let me put it this way. People tend to ask, what's the difference between a shared mailbox and a distribution list? Because in both cases, everyone who is a member of a shared mailbox or a distribution list gets to receive a broadcast email. But may I inform you that is the same thing that happens to people with the Microsoft 365 and Teams group. They also have a centralized mailbox, but we all saw what we could do with them, and we know that our Microsoft 365 and Teams group is generally used for communication and collaboration, where you have Teams, you have Planner, you have SharePoint attached to those kind of groups. Then we looked at distribution list for sending broadcast emails. You want to send out one email to reach 10 people. You add those 10 people into a distribution list group, and whenever you send the email to that distribution list group email, the 10 people gets it. Okay, and we also looked at security groups for permissions. Just in case you did not watch that video, please go back and watch it so you can have a very good understanding. Okay, security groups for permissions, bringing people with similar permissions together to inherit the permission of the group. Okay, so if you are bringing for example Tayo and Bayo, and you want them to be Teams administrators, you can add them to a security group that has that permission. So Dayo and Bio and Tire actually have what? Similar goals, similar permission goals. And for them to be able to inherit it, they need to be inside a security group that has that permission. And the mail-enabled security group just adds an extra flavor to it by also giving them a centralized mailbox, right? So this brings us to shared mailboxes. If all of these groups that we've spoken about actually have a centralized mailbox, why do we need a shared mailbox since it's also working as a group mailbox? Now let me tell you something here. The beautiful thing about shared mailbox, number one, they keep things simple. Okay, they keep things simple. It's not for maybe you want them to have collaboration and communication at the same time, or you want just a broadcast, or you just want permissions and all of that. In terms of a shared mailbox, the comparison with the distribution list mailbox is that people in a distribution list cannot access the mailbox of a distribution list. They only get to receive the email sent to them. I don't know if you understand that. They get to receive the email sent to them in their own mailbox, but they do not have access to the distribution list mailbox. So for example, if I want to reach Tayo and Bayo are in the distribution list, that is distribution list at gmail.com, for example. Let's say gmail.com is their company domain, and I want to reach Bayo and Tayo. I don't want to reach them individually by inserting their emails into my to pane. When you want to send an email, you have your address bar that says to and colon, and then you put in the user address. I don't want to start typing a lot of users. For example, in the case of Bayo and Tayo, they are just two. So you'd say, okay, I can go ahead and type two. What about if you want to reach 100 people? Are you going to type 100 people email addresses on your address bar? No, I don't think that's effective. So what do? You type the distribution list email where these 100 people are into. Okay, so once you do that, you get to reach these people. Instead of sending it directly to the distribution mailbox, it gets to their individual mailbox. So the distribution list is just a means to an end. It's not really the end. Okay, so it maps to their mailboxes as well. When you send out an email to the distribution list email address, they receive these emails in their mailboxes. Okay, so they do not have any form of access to the distribution mailbox. That's how distribution list works. Unlike a shared mailbox, for shared mailboxes, they do have access to the shared mailbox in the sense that whenever you send, let's take it again, I want to reach 100 people. Bayo and Taya are also part of the team. Unlike the distribution list group mails that sends the email to their own inboxes separately, okay, for shared mailbox, it sends the email to the shared mailbox. Bayo and Taya, who are members of that shared mailbox, can open the shared mailbox email separately. Okay, so now they have access to the shared mailbox. So basically, that's the difference between a distribution list and a shared mailbox. It's just like your WhatsApp. Your distribution list is like your WhatsApp broadcast, right? It's like your WhatsApp broadcast message. But when it comes to shared mailbox, they have access to the mailbox itself. So they can open the mailbox separately. And we're going to see how to do that. Now that's one huge difference between the shared mailbox and the distribution list. Now another important thing you need to know about shared mailboxes is they do not require licenses to have a mailbox, just like your other group mails. If you notice, your other group mails do have mailboxes apart from your distribution list, okay, that has a mailbox that you cannot access directly. However, they all do have mailboxes. but they do not have a license. So if they do not have a license, how is it possible that they are given mailboxes? Well, in the world of Microsoft, group mails have mailboxes and they do not require any form of licensing for them to have a mailbox. Unlike your user account, for your user account to be able to have a mailbox, that user account needs to do what? Have any license that has an exchange online plan 1 or exchange online plan 2. So it can be any of the business licenses or any of the enterprise licenses, or it can even be a standalone exchange license. All right. For groups, it doesn't really work like that. Now, that's the catch. The third thing you need to know about shared mailboxes is this. In as much as you do not require a license, to have a shared mailbox email, you as the user that will be granted a permission to that mailbox needs to have a license. So you require a license to be able to access a shared mailbox. Without you having a license, you will not be able to access that shared mailbox. Okay, so let's quickly create one so you'd see and do. You see, very simple. So this shared mailbox is for our sales team, and we want anything that is related to sales to get into this shared mailbox, and members of the sales team will be able to open this shared mailbox. They'll be able to have direct access to it. They'll open it separately and they can read the email boxes. They can read the emails that comes into the shared mailbox. Okay. Now, if it were to be a distribution list, any email, I repeat, any email sent to that distribution list email will be broadcasted to their own inbox. Okay. But now, because it's a shared mailbox, they do have direct access to it. So we'll do sales team. I'm repeating it so that we'll understand. So whatever you want your sales team email address to be, salesteam@yourdomain.com, that's fine. So we can go ahead and do save changes. Great. So if you've been able to do this, congratulations, you just created your shared mailbox. But it doesn't end there. We need to do one more thing. We need to add members. Adding members to our shared mailbox grants them access to the shared mailbox. I hope you understand what that means. So let's just go ahead and add our team members. So I'm going to add myself. So you can add yourself, so it's going to be easy for you to open. So I'll add myself here. Another thing you need to know about group mails is that group mails do not require passwords. As long as you have the right permissions to them, you will be able to gain access to them. So whether it's a M365 group, distribution list, security group, or a shared mailbox, you do not really need a license. Shared mailbox can give you, you do not really need a password. For shared mailboxes, you can create a password for them if you want, but it's not necessary. As you could see in the creation of our shared mailbox, it did not ask us to create a password for it. However, you can still create a password for it, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so this only applies to a shared mailbox, not other groups, but just the shared mailbox. So now I have granted myself access to the shared mailbox, sales team's shared mailbox. How do I access it? So just the way I access a user account who I do not have his or her password, that's the same way I'm going to access a shared mailbox. Okay, so let's go ahead and access a shared mailbox. So before we go ahead to access the shared mailbox, let me add myself to a group so that you can see how it looks like when you have access to a group and when you have access to a shared mailbox, so you know how to access them separately. So let me give myself access to a Microsoft 365 group, which has a central mailbox. So I'm going to give myself access to Cloud B. So you can do this as well. I see you all are doing that already. That's good. So I'm just going to go ahead and add myself. So I'm adding myself as a member. In groups, you have what we call owner and member. So if I add myself as an owner to any of the groups, okay, if I add myself as an owner, this applies actually to just your Microsoft 365 group. An owner in a Microsoft 365 group will not have access to the mailbox. However, the duty of an owner is to add other people to the group. So if you as an owner wants to have access to the Microsoft 365 group mailbox, you also need to be a member. So as soon as you're done adding yourself as a group owner, you should also add yourself as what? A group member. So you can add people to the group as an owner and also access the mailbox as a member. Please take note of all of these. Okay, so I go ahead and click on add. I'm adding myself as a member. I can also add myself as a group owner if I want to. Okay, so I can just go over to owner and I can do my name. I see you all are already adding yourself there. So I think I'm already an owner. Okay, my name is popped in here. I just click owner. Great. So now that is it. So I see Ayokunle is already an owner. Let me see if it's a member. Okay, so he needs to add himself as a member as well to be able to access the mailbox for Cloud B. So let's say Cloud B is our cloud, techie department, the people who are in charge of the cloud stuff. This is their group mailbox. Okay, so how do I access a shared mailbox versus how do I access a group mailbox? So let's go ahead and start with the group mailbox and then we can see how to access a shared mailbox. So I go to my email. Okay, so for group mails, as soon as someone adds you as a group member or a group owner, you get to see this. You get to see this notification. Okay, so you can go ahead to click on view group if you want to, but the best way for you to view all the groups that you belong to is by doing what? Going to groups. So how do I head over to groups? I can scroll down over here and I can click on go to groups. So you can see all the groups that I belong to. You can see Cloud B. I recently added myself to it. So you as a Microsoft 365 administrator or IT support person or an IT engineer, you will be in charge of adding people to groups. So that's exactly how you add them to the group and how you explain to them how they can access the group. So you can go ahead and click on the group. So you can see this is the only email that is in this group. If anyone sends an email to Cloud B's group, they will all be lined up in here. So groups are designed more for internal businesses like internal communication and collaboration. Shared mailbox are also like internally designed, but more for external communications. Okay, so this is exactly how you view your groups. Now let me show you how to view your shared mailbox. As you can see, obviously there is no shared mailbox here. All of these here are group mailboxes. So let's go ahead and view, what's the name of our shared mailbox again? I hope I haven't forgotten. So okay, sales, I remember now. Okay, so how do we view sales? Let's just imagine we are back here to our general email. We can go ahead to our profile at our top right, and we can click on open another mailbox. Then we can go ahead and type in the mail address. Okay, sales at, let's go ahead and pick up the mail address so we don't make a mistake. Sales team. Okay, so it's sales team. So you see it's here, and then I can go ahead and click on open. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your shared mailbox. So you can see the dynamics is completely different. Shared mailbox looks exactly like your personal mailbox, properly structured for you to have a proper experience, most especially when you're dealing with external people, like external clients. So it's designed for internal groups, but more for external communications with people outside your organizations compared to your group meals. Let's head over to groups. Oops. That is just for internal communication. It all depends on what you want to achieve, right? You can decide to say, oh, this group is also for external. People outside my organization can reach any of the group members using this group. So you can also see the members of this group. Okay. So that is exactly how to go about it, right? That's exactly how to view your shared mailbox and exactly how to view your group mails. I hope we are learning. I hope we're taking note of this, because as a Microsoft 365 support person or Microsoft 365 admin, you should be able to explain, to the people so they can understand and know what they are doing. Okay, it helps them appreciate the technology better. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. I want to see us create our shared mailboxes over here. Okay, I want to see our shared mailboxes. I want to see you access your shared mailbox. Send emails to your shared mailbox. Play around with it. Okay, alrighty. So that is it about shared mailbox, and we will be moving to the next item on the list. But before we move to the next item on the list, please do not forget deleted groups, just the way we have deleted users. Whenever you delete a group, it comes over here, and you can always restore the group just the way we restored a deleted user. So if I had deleted any of those groups, you will see it here, and I can go ahead to restore them by clicking on the group and clicking on restore. So you can go ahead and try that out. We will be leaving out some things here because we will still see them over our next admin center, which is called Exchange Online Admin Center. So when we get to Exchange Admin Center, we'll talk about resources, we'll look at roles, assignments. They actually work the same way over here. So we'll just go ahead and skip that. And we'll head over to what we call MarketPlace. So MarketPlace is where you purchase your licenses, your subscriptions generally. Your subscription comes with license. So this is where you can actually purchase them. Now, I know some of you might have wondered, what if I wanted to purchase a license for my team or for my organization or for any other organization for that matter? Maybe you got favored by God and a very big organization out there is looking for a productivity tool like Microsoft 365, and they want you to be the lead on the project, embarking them from wherever they're coming from into Microsoft 365. So how do you explain to them how to purchase their licenses? Now let's just imagine the company has, maybe it's a conglomerate, and they have their shipping company, and they also have their hotel business. They want both their shipping company and their hotel business to be under one tenant. Now, what is a tenant? A tenant is your logical um, grouping within Microsoft 365 space. Okay? For example, if you want to purchase a Microsoft 365 subscription, when you are purchasing that subscription, it automatically gives you what? A tenant. So it gives you your own logical space, your own environment, just like what we have here, right? This is our tenant. For you to be able to do what? Administer Microsoft 365 products to your users. So let's now come back to purchasing our licenses. The company says both their shipping company and their what's the name of the other company again? Let's just say, sorry, it skipped my mind. Both their shipping company, okay, hotel, and their hotel business should be on the same tenant, so they should be on the same environment. How do you go about it? Are you going to go ahead to create a new subscription? Because once you create a new subscription, it creates a separate tenant for that particular business. Okay, so based on the demand of the organization, they want all of them to be in the same tenant. So how do you go about it? That's why we have what we call MarketPlace. Now, to make it clearer, I know I should have shown us this earlier before, but it's never too late. If you wanted to purchase a subscription, you can just go to your, let's just imagine you want to purchase a business standard. So let's go ahead and do Microsoft Business License. So of course it's going to bring you here. So, like I said, it's going to get you to this page. Okay? Now, you can decide to go without teams, plans with Copilot, non-profits, and additional services if you want. Okay? This is the home plan, and this is the enterprise. So Microsoft, they're working on their look and feel, and it's looking really beautiful. So if I wanted to purchase this subscription, what I can do try for free or buy now. Buy now means I want to pay. I know so much about the product. I don't want to try it. I know so much about it. So why don't I just go ahead and pay? Okay. But try now is Microsoft is going to give you a 1 month, that's 30 days of free trial. However, you need to add in your card details. And if you want to continue with them, you can go ahead and continue with them without canceling the trial, and then they can go ahead to do what? Debit you. There's a way you can reach out to their support, and they can give you 1 month extra. Maybe there's still some things you still want to try out, right? So let's go ahead and click on the try for free, which is the most popular option. People love free stuff, so they'll definitely go for 30 days free. Okay, so it's gonna bring us here. Let's just wait for it, guys. Let's play some puzzle. Oh my goodness. How do you play this puzzle? 31. Oh, I think I missed 31. Let's go back there. 31. Is that 31 or 37? Huh. Is that 31? Okay, let's say that's 31. I believe so. So let's look for 90. Yep. This 90 or 8. Let's say it's 90, and I believe, oh my goodness, that wasn't correct. Okay, let's go ahead and try again. 99. I don't think we want to waste our time doing this. Is this matching my eyes? Is that 42 or 99? That looks like it's sitting on 42. Let's try one more time. Okay, let's just say 99. $75 and crown. 75 and crown. Oops. I think I'm not really getting this puzzle. I'm going to take my time to really understand this puzzle, but for now, just bear with me. If this doesn't work, I'll let you know what's up, okay? I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure it's gonna work because I know I missed this out. Okay, so once you're done, playing this puzzle and you're able to get through the next stage. You can see the next stage is sign in details. You put in your details, including the name of your organization, and Microsoft will automatically create a domain for you, a test domain for you within their Microsoft.onmicrosoft.com domain. So you will now have, for example, if the name of your organization is Tolu.com, right? Tolu Enterprises, Microsoft can decide to give you your name. Maybe your name is Jackson at Tolu.onmicrosoft.com. And then when you're ready to move Tolu.com domain from your domain provider like GoDaddy, Google Host and likes, you can decide to bring them to Microsoft 365. I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Okay. Alrighty, so once you're done doing that, you can now click on add payment, confirm your order. As soon as you add payment, which is your card, and you confirm your order, that is it. You will be redirected to your portal, which is something like this, admin.microsoft.com, and then you log in with the details that you provided while creating, filling out all of this, sign-in details. You can go ahead and try it out. As soon as you are done, you will now have access to your company's tenant. Now the question is, remember we have two organizations. We have hotel and we have what? We have marine. Okay, and the company's ask is that both hotel and marine should be under one tenant. So if we should repeat this process for marine will have his own or its own or her own organizations are referred to as women. So let's say her own tenant, and that's not what the organization wants. So what can we do to resolve that issue? We want both marine and hotel to be in the same place. So that's why we have what? MarketPlace. So let's just imagine this is hotel dot whatever the organization.com, and I also want to purchase what? Marine. How do I go about it still within under this tenant? The first thing I need to do is to go ahead and add the marine.com domain into my tenant. But you need to calm down. I will show you how to do that in our next class. You need to calm down, okay? Then after you are done doing that, you can now come over to the marketplace, go to all products, when you get to all products, you can now come and say, so for marine.com, I want to go ahead and add a business standard license. So you can do business standard. So because this is a test environment, you will definitely not see it. Okay, you'll definitely not see it here, but in a real life environment, as soon as you type business standard, you would see it here. So let's just assume this is business standard. Okay, so you can go ahead and click on details. and you can go ahead to choose the number of seats or licenses that you want. So let's say we have 200 people. Okay, we have 200 people in the Marine Kingdom that you want to bring over to the hotel tenant. Okay, you can just go ahead and select 200 and then you click on buy, or if you want to start a free trial as well for those 200 people, you can go ahead and start a free trial. I don't think they're going to give you a free trial for 200 people. Most likely the free trial will cover for 25 persons. So you can go ahead to click on start trial and you would see, let me show you what you will see. So we're in MarketPlace. Okay. So if you go over to billing and click on your products, after that process, you will see the business standard subscription under this one. Okay, so you can see I have different subscriptions. So you would see the business what? You see the business standard subscription under this one, with the number of assigned licenses, the quantity you purchased, available licenses, and all of that information. So that has solved the issue. Number one, we brought in the domain for marine.com. Number two, we purchased license for them. And number three, we can now start creating users with their domain. Okay, so when you're trying to create a user and you see the domain part, there will be a drop down with that additional domain in there. Okay, so which leads us to the next part of it. Now we are in billing. Billing is just all about you managing the billing information of your organization, right? So we've seen the first thing, which is our products. The next thing is licenses. Okay, so this gives us more detailed view. The next thing is bills and payments. Nothing so special here, but very important. Very important here is that you get to see the billing of your organization. So if this were to be a normal environment or like your traditional environment that's not a test environment, you'd see the invoices. Okay, so you can also see the payment method, and in the payment method you would see the card, the what they call it now, the debit card or credit card that was added to purchase, this license when we were registering it here. Okay, where we added our payment, you'd see that information here. Now this is very risky. We don't want unauthorized people to see our billing information. They could take an undue advantage of the card details and they could start purchasing stuff. So we don't want to give people access to this. And this is the reason why you need to be very careful when you are assigning permissions to people. So if you want some certain group of people to manage this section of your Microsoft 365 tenant, which is always the thing, okay? There are people designated to assign this. What do? You make them billing administrators. Once you make them billing administrators, it is only them that have access to these billing sections, and usually they are related to accounting department, or they are the heads of departments. They are responsible people, so to speak. Okay, so that is exactly what we have over there. Then we also have our billing accounts. I'm gonna rush up with billing because it's nothing so serious. So you can see your billing account. You see your payment method here again. If you want to add more payment methods, you can go ahead and click on it to add it. Then we have billing notifications. So this is where you receive all your notifications. For example, if the what they call it now, the accounting people that are in charge of billing, or the head of department, or whoever that was assigned to handle the billing, right? Whenever there is a payment, and the payment happens automatically, the person just loads the card and the payment happens every month. So whenever a payment is done, you get an email that the subscription has been renewed automatically. Okay, so this is just the settings on how you want to receive it. So I want it to be attached, attach a PDF to what? To my invoice. Okay, so it can be in English or Spanish. So this is actually okay for me. You can scroll down. You can go ahead to change billing admins. People that you've assigned as billing admins, you can change them to maybe someone else. People that are global admins, you can change them to someone else, because if you're a global admin, means you have access to do everything. Excuse me, you're the super admin, you are the overall, you can do and undo. That's the meaning of the global admin. So you can see we are the global admins here. I'm going to be adding all of you to the global admin stream. So you guys can also do a whole lot here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Right, now there's a caveat, says you can only assign 20 members at a time. So let's go ahead and take off the unwanted guests. Who are the unwanted guests? There are some people that they're not real. Not real people. Some are groups as well. That's my shared mailbox. User template. I don't think this is someone. I don't think that's a real person. Okay, so I'm not going to waste our time, right? I'm going to take my time and do this and sort this out. And you guys will be global administrators, and you guys can do about everything that I'm doing right now. Okay, so basically that's all about billings. That's all about what? Billing. The next thing is support. So support is whenever you have an issue, you're finding it difficult and you need a Microsoft 365 support to attend to you, you can head over to support. You can come over here and type your issue. Maybe can't purchase a license. So once you do this, it's going to bring out something similar. If what you want is not there, you can just go ahead to click the arrow over here. And once you click on the arrow over there, the next thing you're going to see is it's going to bring out, an example, similar guide, something that can guide you through. Okay, so it's going to give you something that you can use, but we don't want this. We want to speak to someone, because this is not really appropriate. It doesn't really fit the scenario per se. So I want to speak with someone. So you can come over here to contact support. How do you want to be contacted? By phone or by email? You can do by phone, so they could call you immediately. You add in the description of your issue. You add in your phone number. If you want to, maybe you took a screenshot. If there was an error, you can now go ahead and add the screenshot over here. You can decide to choose your preferred time zone. Where do you want them to reach you? I'll do the West African time zone. West African time zone. Okay, I don't like wasting too much time, so let me just go ahead. I know it's somewhere, it's not far, but because it's a video, it's not looking like I'm gonna waste your time. Okay, you just go ahead and look for it, but it's there. So I can just go ahead and put this, and I add English, could be English UK, whatever English that fits you could go ahead and do that. So I just use English Canada, and that's it. So once you're done describing your issue and all of that, every other thing, adding your phone number, this contact me option will be blue. Okay, it's no longer going to be grayed out. It's going to be blue. It's going to be active. You can just go ahead and click on contact me, and that is it. You will be contacted in the nearest possible time. Raising support tickets on Microsoft 365 is free. You don't need to, as long as you have a license, whether it's a trial license or a paid license. As long as you have a license, doesn't matter the kind of license, could be a business basic. As long as you have an existing license, you can raise tickets to Microsoft 365 support. So that's one of the beautiful things about Microsoft, guys. You can do, you can get free support for your Microsoft 365. So after you are done raising your ticket, you can come over here to view all your support requests if you want. I forgot to mention something. Once you're done raising your ticket, you'll be able to see what's happening. Okay, it's going to show you that your ticket has been raised, and it's going to give you another option and say, okay, someone has been assigned, an agent has been assigned to your ticket. If an agent has not been assigned to your ticket, that part will be grayed out. Okay, but if an agent has been assigned to your ticket, that part will be what? Blue. And if the agent calls you and resolve your issue, the next option will be ticket issue resolved, ticket closed, right? And then you can go ahead to rate the engineer 5-star or whatever star you want, and that is it. You can go ahead and click on submit. Then even when the ticket is closed, you can always come over here to view request to view all the tickets that you have raised. It might not be you, it could be someone else within your department that has the capacity to raise this ticket. You can go ahead and see those tickets and follow up on them, okay? Then the next one is customer lockbox request. Customer lockbox request is saying, I do not want Microsoft 365 support agents to access my tenant. I don't want them to access this, I don't want them to access that. If this were to be a live environment, you would see the options here. It gives the Microsoft 365 support the accurate or the appropriate permission to access whatever it is that you want them to access on your tenant. So if you don't want them to access your tenant at all, you are locking it out from them. Okay, so locking it out, and they will not be able to access it. So basically that is customer lockbox requests. Then we have the Microsoft Surface support. So if you're using the Microsoft laptop, it's called Microsoft Surface, then you should be able to use the Microsoft Surface support. Okay, it's as simple as that. Now the next thing, which is where we're going to be stopping for today, and we're going to look at other things, right, is called domains. So this is where you add your domains. For example, this is the test domain that was given to me by Microsoft when I came over here and purchased the free trial. They needed something to offer me so I could log into their system, and they decided to give me they decided to give me what? This. Okay? And let's say the name of my company is gtbank.com. I can't use this when dealing with my customers. I can use this internally if I want, but when dealing with my customers, I want them to see my name dot my surname at gtbank.com. So how do we go about it? You can either buy from Microsoft. I do not advise you to do this if you really want to learn how to assign domains. This is very easy, okay, because Microsoft actually has partnership with GoDaddy, and if you go ahead and fill out all of this and click on finish, it's going to be done for you as easy as it's going to be a breeze, trust me. Okay, but that's not what I want you to do, because this is simple, step by step, and you're done. What I actually want us to do is to add our own domain without purchasing it. So let's say you already purchased the domain from, even if it's GoDaddy or Whogohost or somewhere else, you just purchased the domain and you want to add it here. So it is a simple process that we will be looking at in our next class, and I want you guys to go ahead to purchase your own domains, to purchase a test domain, without a hosting plan. Just a domain can be like 2,000 naira or 3,000 or 4,000. Okay, you can do .com.ng. It's very, very cheap. You can go ahead and purchase it, and in our next class we're going to add it together and you see how it works. All right, I want you to try it out, and you will be able to do this for other organizations as well. This is usually the first step after purchasing a tenant for the organization, this is the next thing you need to do, before you start creating users with the domain, of course. Except in cases whereby you are migrating. For example, the customer already have an email provider somewhere, could be cPanel, it could be any other thing, could be Google, Gmail. Okay, the person is using Google Workspace. In scenarios like that, you are not supposed to do this domain cutover first. You should go ahead and migrate the emails, and once you are done migrating the emails, you can now do your domain cutover. Cutover just means you are cutting out that domain from whatever source, wherever it has been, to a new destination, which of course is what Microsoft 365. So you can go ahead and watch this video. This video is going to give you an idea of how to go about it. Okay, you can go ahead and watch this video. It's just a very simple video. It's going to give you an idea of how to go about it, but we will do ours in our next coming class. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you are here, if you've been able to understand the concepts behind shared mailboxes and groups, then congratulations to you. If you've been able to understand the concepts for purchasing products in MarketPlace, then congratulations to you as well. If you've been able to understand support, billing, and all of that, then congratulations to you. We are almost done with the admin center. As soon as we do our cutover, like test domain, then we will move to Exchange Online. Alrighty. So thank you so much, guys, for listening, and apologies once again for the hiccups. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.